We're lucky to have Eric, the filmmaker. And so, Eric, let's go ahead and just jump right on in.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and how that monumentous meeting, well, first of all, was it La Mexicana down in Newport where you picked up Danny who was in the restaurant?
I don't want to give away too many details. I think it might have been, I honestly think it may have been a different location, but like that is Joe Walsh, who's the animator in town. He's here as well. Humongous thank you to him. That's like our favorite Mexican restaurant, so we're like, let's just do La Mexicana. Yeah. It might have been Bakersfield originally, but we switched it up.
But what was it about that conversation as a filmmaker that you went, there might be something here?
Oh my gosh, that is, I think it's just being open and just saying yes. Like when I met Vanny, I was fresh to the city, fresh to Cincinnati. I just graduated college, and driving for Lyft was just an opportunity for me to discover this new city and also to discover new people. So young, naive, optimistic, whatever you want to call it. I think it was synchronicity. I think it was like the universe kind of telling me something. And so it felt like fate, but it also felt really casual. Like when I met Vanny, it was just cool, easy to talk to him, and he seemed really dope. I liked what he was talking about with his hiking club that he just started. And then it was just really organic. So we just got coffee, I think a week later at like right down the road, and Coffee Emporium, and then we just like hit it off from there. So I think it's just saying yes to the call to adventure, just being open. Yeah.
And so as a student, did you study more narrative filmmaking or documentary filmmaking? Because there's very different skill sets.
I studied photojournalism originally, so that was like my backbone was always nonfiction storytelling. I grew up like obsessed with National Geographic and Ken Burns, so I also a huge music fan, so I kind of married the photojournalism with the audio and evolved into documentary filmmaking. Kind of in my junior and senior year of college, and then I graduated, and this is my first day, my first film. So
it's a really good first film. Very, very, very good first film.
It only took 5 years. So.
Hey man, it's still a very good first film. So in the process of documentary filmmaking, you don't have a script to follow. So how did you manage all the footage all the time? You have 3 people that you're following, and schedules, and hiking, and all of that.
Gosh. I mean, yeah, it's such an interesting dilemma with documentary filmmaking because it isn't all planned. Like meeting Vanny wasn't planned. Even when I met up with them, I never thought this would be a documentary. I just thought this would be a way to meet some cool dudes, go for a walk, and get coffee, and like it was really inspiring. But oh gosh, remind me of the question again. This is really surreal. This is the first time I've watched the movie on like a theater with people, so I'm like a little, shaken up. Yeah.
Yeah, the question is, how did you manage all the loose ends of a documentary film?
A lot of hard drives, a lot of time. I mean, as you guys saw, we did this really big walk for Sapphire to raise sister in 2020, and the pandemic hit. The pandemic was a blessing in disguise for me because it gave me the opportunity to edit. So I just worked tirelessly for like a year and a half to do that. But during that process of editing, I found the story. So while I was on the trail or when we came home, I was just filming constantly because you never know when you might catch some gold. But during the editing process and post-production, I was really inspired by Joseph Campbell and Carl Jung and studying like archetypes and the hero's journey. And that's when I developed and adapted the hero's journey as like a perfect template for this story to fit into, which was really trippy because we already shot it. It so happened to be that like the story fit into this ancient archetypal model for storytelling. So once I kind of discovered that, it was a way to kind of um, just influenced like my decision making in the editing room, because there was a lot of things that had to get cut. So it was a lot of discovery and like formation during post.
So, did you bring us food on the trip? Well, how was your food
Oh
supply?
yeah, oh, of course. A lot of sardines and tortillas. I still eat that to this day. It's a good, nutritious, high-calorie meal. Try it out. No, I also had an assistant, my buddy Dean, who he's in Kentucky, couldn't make it tonight, but he was flying the drone, and he was my right-hand man, and he helped edit a lot of this movie too. So I would carry, my backpack was full of like camera gear, batteries, all of my equipment, and then I think like Vanny would carry my actual tent. So we all like displaced the weight among us. But yeah, I had these like energy gummies that like marathon runners eat, and that's like what saved me. That and instant coffee and sardines. Yeah.
So when did the decision to add in the animation come in?
Fairly early, actually, when I kind of got the idea to make this into a doc. The Urban Hikers, they approached me asking me if I wanted to make this, which was an absolute honor. But I knew we needed to get some visuals, some graphics for that, so I enlisted Joe Walsh to help me with the graphics. Another shout out to Joe, who worked tirelessly for like over a year on this, and like, but anyways, it was really cool to kind of develop a visual language for the film, and it kind of was also a limitation. Like Abdi's story, the prologue, how the movie begins, is like this war-torn refugee journey. Like that couldn't have been told any other way. There's no documents, there's no photos, so it's something we embraced, for sure, because of the limitations, because of the origin stories of the guys and how they met, because I wasn't there, so I had to like fill those lines in with animation.
So do you have any projects in the works currently?
I really want to sell this movie, so if anyone knows anyone in distribution, that's our goal, and then after this, I want to do a short documentary.
Okay. Well, there is a party at the Art Academy at 10 o'clock, so anybody who wants to support our young filmmaker, there's a great networking opportunity. So I'm going to open it up to the audience. Any questions that you may have? Yes, ma'am.
So I've seen a couple of these, and I've seen that they've gone back and done interviews with people, but it doesn't look like you were able to do that. You just took it and edited it with what you had. You didn't go back later and say, let's talk about that topic.
I did, but I kind of tried to weave it in. So a lot of the interviews that I did, a lot of the dialogue that you hear, I recorded after we did the hike, but I intentionally didn't really want to have it seem like, I don't know, like it was taking place after the film or anything. So that was kind of a decision that we made, is that we wouldn't really film the documentaries, we'd just collect the dialogue and then really dig our heels into the animation and make that a driving storytelling device. So that was like an intention.
I like that.
Thank you.
Mixture.
Yeah,
That's good.
appreciate it.
Any others? Yes, ma'am.
How long did it take the group to get comfortable with your camera? Or was it because they all knew each other that the camera was just didn't play much of a role at all in terms of affecting your conversation?
I think Vanny was immediately comfortable because he wanted to be the star of the show. He's like, come on, bro. But I think for the other guys, I think for Abdi, who's soft-spoken, I think for everyone, it's so crucial to. It's a tight wire kind of walk, because the conversation of race, of course, it's like really interesting because I met these guys very serendipitously and we just connected organically. But it's something I always wanted to make sure was like spoken about, and even I think what made them really comfortable is like determining the equity of the film. So that's something that's shared amongst us, any of the equity for the film. So like I think at that point we were able to sign away, and they were able to like really open up and be vulnerable after we kind of figured that out too. But I mean it's also just through conversations. Weekly we would meet up, get coffee, go for walks all around town. It just by doing it organically and getting to know each other, and by demonstrating that I am genuine, I think, and just another guy interested in what they were doing.
I've always thought walking was one of the best ways with a friend or a partner to solve a problem, because you're not looking directly in his face. You sort of just speak your mind. It comes very easily. It's a wonderful way to solve problems.
I concur. And I think it's because your body's moving, your brain's moving. It's like, period. That's so crucial. And so we hope everyone can pick that up. And, you know, whatever you want to walk for, like, go for it. You know, it doesn't need to be. The one thing we really wanted to demonstrate with this film is, like, you don't need to hike the entire Appalachian Trail. You don't even need to do, like, a multi-day backpacking trip. You can even just go out for, like, a 5-mile walk. It can just, like, make your month or something. So walk your own walk.
Yes.
What was the hardest truth you had to confront while you were doing this?
Hardest truth?
Yeah.
Hardest truth. I think it was just like, the hardest truth was like if I could pull this off, because it's so much work. 5 years, it's like a full-length movie. Thank you to anyone that donated. There's a lot of people in this room that did so. So at the same time, like, it was an independent, shoestring budget film. So the hardest thing to confront was just like, can we pull this off? It's super illogical. This is like not a great career to go into. Like, it's crazy. But to me, it's just like, do I have that perseverance to like have full faith in the story and to just continue it? And I believe I wanted to put these guys on a pedestal, and the story deserved to be told. So that wasn't too hard to do.
Any other questions? Where can people find you? Is there a website? Is the film downloadable for purchase?
So you guys can follow us at Why We Walk Film on Instagram or whywewalkfilm.com. Next Sunday at the Freedom Center, the Underground Railroad Freedom Center, we are going to be screening Why We Walk for free at 2 p.m. So please invite your friends and family. It's going to be super special. So just Google us. We're on Instagram as well. But yeah, the best way you can find us is next weekend at the Freedom Center. We put a lot of work and intention into the OTR Film Festival and our event next week. And then immediately after that, our goal is to get into the distribution talks, and our goal is to have it able to be streamed by like the end of the year. So we're still working on like what the appropriate venue for that would be, but it's in the works.
Okay. All right. Any final thoughts from anyone in the crowd, or any final thoughts from you? All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. And again, 10 o'clock at the Art Academy, big party, big closing party. The Ophelias will be playing, as well as I Do Not Conform. They are the gentlemen who were in Res Metal, the documentary film that we had last night. All right. Thanks, everybody.